said, what would drivers do to make it happen? We just saw what they would do.
Like I said, he wasn't going to slow down then.
That's how you do it. That's your season right there.
Well, we got our Final Four in NASCAR. Whoever finishes the best Sunday at Homestead will win his first sprint title. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Ryan Newman have never won a championship. And Mike Massaro joins us now to talk about it, and he specifically is going to talk about the 31 team. So, Mike, how is the 31 team preparing for their first shot at a championship since 1994?
Well, Linda, it's kind of a quiet day here in the shops on the RCR campus. A West Coast trip means that the road guys were given the day off. Still, there was some activity in the shop this morning. Teams preparing the backup car for Homestead, making sure they go through the entire checklist to make sure that car is ready to go in case it's needed. As for the primary car was taken to NASCAR's Research and Development Center in Concord, North Carolina, to be certified for the race in Homestead. It was given the stamp of approval and is ready to go for this weekend. This team, certainly the underdog going into this championship race. Ryan Newman has not won a race all year long, but team owner Richard Childress, he is embracing that role. In fact, I spoke with him this morning, and he said, I love being the underdog. We've been the underdog all year long. It's a lot like being the Royals. And, of course, the Royals is a team that is close to the heart of Richard Childress because manager Ned Yost was actually an unofficial member of the Richard Childress racing team with Dale Earnhardt back in 1994, believe it or not. During the Major League Baseball strike of that year, well, Ned Yost took some time off and spent the time with the race team, working with Dale Earnhardt and the team. So he's got a pretty soft spot in his heart for this team and is pulling for Richard Childress, who has not won a championship in the Sprint Cup Series since 1994.
I'm telling you, it'd be some story if Ryan Newman could pull this thing off after not being shut out during this season. All right, that's our Mike Massaro reporting on Ryan Newman and the rest of the Final Four. Let's keep the talk going. David?
Yeah, we got Ricky Craven here. We saw Ryan Newman lay it all on the line just to get to the Final Four at Homestead. So it begs the question, how far are these guys going to be willing to go when it's 400 miles to win a championship?
I think they're going to go as far as they need to go. And I think that at this point in the season, drivers remind themselves where their allegiances are. And that's to their team, their car owner, their sponsors. So as much as they want to be friends and they want to have friends in the garage, it's not that important. Certainly not as important as winning a championship. We saw it displayed by Ryan Newman. We saw it a week earlier displayed by Brad Keselowski. And we've seen it in bits and pieces all year long. If you got to move a driver up to win the title, absolutely.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Okay, so and now this race is this different animal. We've never had this before. 4 out of the 43 racing for a championship. How is the format going to just impact the race and the strategy?
I think it's got a lot of flavor, David. We got a clear underdog, as you mentioned, with Ryan Newman having not won or even had a second-place finish in 35 races. Then on the other end of the scale, we get Kevin Harvick. He's been lightning fast. He's set the measure several times this year. And I believe that the drivers who become preoccupied during the race with just staying ahead of the other three lose.
Really?
In other words, your ability at this point, in being in this position, was predicated on being better than all the others and being faster and finishing better. Don't lose sight of it. If you become defensive and you become a little complacent with not having to win, I think you suffer for it. And that's why I think the drivers with the speed will prevail.
If you're 5 spots ahead of a guy, doesn't it behoove you to be a little cautious and not to take chances at that point and just maintain position?
How do you get 5 spots ahead of a guy? By taking chances and being aggressive.
But once you're there...
Well, now that's a different story.
Okay.
If we're 5 laps from the end and we're in the position you described,